Hello and welcome to the preview show from RamsTV. Derby County are back home at Pride Park Stadium today. The Rams need points to stay in the League One playoff places, but they're facing the division's in-form side in Ipswich Town. It's an intriguing day in the promotion race with both Plymouth and Bolton not playing this weekend. They're facing each other in the EFL Trophy final at Wembley tomorrow. That means Sheffield Wednesday could return to the top of the table at Plymouth's expense, and that Ipswich can move to within just 2 points of the top two and with a game in hand. The playoff race has tightened up as well. If Derby don't win today, they could find themselves out of the top six by the end of play, with Peterborough just a point back and Wycombe just 3 behind. Forest Green are still bottom of the table and still 11 points from safety despite beating Sheffield Wednesday last weekend. MK Dons have managed to move 4 points clear of danger after winning their last 3 games. There are 11 matches in League One today. We'll take you through those a little later in the programme. But let's start our build-up to Derby County against Ipswich Town by hearing from Rams midfielder Jason Knight. He missed the trip to Peterborough last weekend. He was away on international duty with the Republic of Ireland, and he started for them against France on Tuesday.
Yeah, big game, obviously. Disappointing result in the end, but a performance probably we can build on for the June camp. Like I say, I think everyone knows sort of playing for Ireland is my peak, is pinnacle in my career, and I think it always will be. So it was a great occasion. We put on a good performance, but we wanted the result and we didn't get it, unfortunately.
Are they pinch me moments at all going up against Mbappe, Camavinga, these sorts of players?
I suppose looking back on, but I suppose in another sense you want to test yourself. You want to play in these big games all the time. So that's something I'm striving towards, trying to improve and trying to play in as many games of that sort of standard as I can.
And we were just saying before we started the interview, the left of a front three, maybe not the position we automatically think of for Jason Knight, but you've shown us time and time again this season you'll play anywhere. Yeah,
I was just happy to be out there, really. Like, more so coming inside, I was in the game, but I've get used to it really with the international team, sort of playing in that position. So I wasn't thrown in the deep end by any means, so I enjoyed it. It was a bit of a shift, but enjoyed it all the same.
You're on, 18 caps now, I think, something like that. You were described earlier this year by an Irish football writer as one of the most exciting midfielders of his generation. That must be nice, firstly.
Yeah, it's a nice touch, I suppose. I don't know who it was, but it's a nice touch.
We'll get the name for you afterwards. I just wonder about, and you talk about your pride about playing for Ireland. Do you feel... or how comfortable do you feel in the setup? Do you sort of feel like you're going to be picked every time now, or are you always having to prove yourself, do you think?
I think naturally, me as a person, you're always trying to improve. You're trying to prove yourself every time. And I think it's a really competitive team at the moment, so I don't think anyone's sort of guaranteed to be there. And I always said that to myself, that these camps are like gold dust. These won't come every day, so I need to make the most of it, and hopefully I'm doing it at the moment.
How strange an experience was it this time, being away with Ireland, but Derby are back home and playing, and you're not involved with the game?
Yeah, it was interesting. Usually you have an international camp and the whole team are off, and I'm, or whoever's in the team is away. So that was weird in a way. But I was keeping in touch, seeing how the lads were doing, and watched bits of the game on Saturday.
What would your assessment of it be then, having not been a part of it on the day?
Of the game, or it was difficult. Like I said, I didn't watch all of it. I watched a large part of it. I was saying we done really well in the first half, but didn't really convert our chances. And then got a bit of a sucker punch in the second half, and we were sort of trying to pull ourselves back into the game from there. But look, it was a difficult there. Peterborough are a good team, and we've got another good test coming up.
Yeah, Ipswich Saturday. How much do you see it as an opportunity to prove yourself against one of the better teams in the division?
Absolutely. I think, especially at home, I know the last couple of weeks we've hit a bit of a bump, but this is a big game, a great game for us to bounce back in front of a bumper crowd as well. So everyone's looking forward to it, everyone's excited, everyone's feeling fresh as well. So it's going to be a great game.
It is a bit of a sticky patch in form. There's no getting away from that. But I don't get the sense from anyone, I certainly don't get the sense from you, that anybody in the building is getting too downhearted about where you are.
No, absolutely not. Not long ago we were on a big run of form as well. So it's all roller coasters, you know what I mean? You go through bumps in form throughout the season. A lot of experienced lads in the group as well. So everyone's in there grounded, but in the same sense, determined to put it to bed and get better.
Jason Knight talking to RamsTV ahead of today's game. Now, there aren't many players through the years who've moved directly from Derby to Ipswich, and even fewer who've become fan favourites at both clubs, which is why I wonder we don't call this the Kev Wilson Derby. Kev swapped the baseball ground for Portman Road back in 1985. We've been talking to him this week about his time at both clubs.
Well, Derby is my club, Owen, really, because they give me the first opportunity, and I live in Derby now. I work at Derby on match days, so yeah, it's still got a lot of good memories here, and it's great to be able to still be involved in and around it. Ipswich, you know, very similar to Derby, very friendly, very good club. I most really developed as a player there through Bobby Ferguson. Yeah, so I still have some real good memories, and if it means Ipswich Derby in the playoffs, then there'll be only one club, it'll be Derby, that I'll be looking forward to get through. But yeah, Ipswich have always going to have a little bit in my heart about it because of the success I had there, and I felt I developed as a player there.
And I think you're as well remembered there as you are here, which is nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's always nice when you're remembered, isn't it? You know, so, you know, it's great. I get the opportunity to come down and watch training because I still want to keep my pro licence active, so I have to do CPD hours, and Paul, you know, it gets me to come down. So it's good. It's good to keep your hand in because you never know what's going to happen in the future.
What about the seasons that the respective clubs are having at the moment? Ipswich still in the race for the top two, Derby hunting for the playoffs. As you say, they could end up facing each other.
Yeah, they could. I was going to say, I think Ipswich are one of the teams that at the moment are showing the best of form, but that doesn't mean anything on Saturday because, you know, it's a bit of a wounded tiger, Derby, at the minute. That they've lost a couple where, you know, they should have had more out of. And also Ipswich are flying high, so it wouldn't surprise me if Derby came and nicked the result on Saturday. But no, Ipswich have done extremely well, and they're definitely a formed team at the present moment. But we've just got, you know, Derby just got to concentrate on the performance Saturday and get back to winning ways.
A big club, Ipswich, and like Derby, a one-club city as well. Are they a bit of a maybe a warning, maybe a reminder that it can be difficult to get out of League One, no matter how big you are?
Yeah, it took Derby 2 years to get out of League One before, you know, so under Arthur Cox, and I think this is the same here with Paul. You know, he's inherited a squad here who had a fantastic run of 19 games, I think, undefeated, and all of a sudden they've hit a little bit of a stumbling block. I think Paul Warne's definitely the right man for this football club going forward. It's completely different now. It's warm and welcoming, and everybody's working their hardest to get in the playoffs. Ipswich, they could go and nick, you know, the second spot because Sheffield Wednesday are having a bit of a stutter at the minute. Got beat at Barnsley. They got a draw last night at Cheltenham and come back from 2 down. So yeah, it's an entertaining season. It'd be good to be involved in as a player or a manager because these opportunities don't come around very long. And you know, I'm sure that the game on Saturday will be an intriguing game, and with two sides who are trying to push to get into the playoffs and maybe more.
Well, still all to play for both Kev's former clubs this season. Ipswich still gunning for automatic promotion, and they are the form team in League One just now. Their win over Shrewsbury a fortnight ago made it 6 league wins on the bounce. They're unbeaten in 10 League One games. and haven't conceded a goal in the league since the 2-2 draw against Sheffield Wednesday back in mid-February, 8 games ago. They've only lost 4 times all season. That's the best mark in the league. They've also scored more goals than anyone else, have a better goal difference, have more shots and more possession per game than any other team. It is looking like boss Kieran McKenna might be the man to lead Ipswich back to the Championship after 4 years away.
Yeah, we're looking forward to a really good game, tough game, of course. Yeah, good stadium, nice big pitch, really tough opponent. And we're going to have to be at our best, but these are the challenges that we want at this stage of the season. We had every game was a big challenge in the league anyway. Our last away game was a big challenge away to Bolton again in a big stadium against a good team, and this is a challenge at least equal of that again. So we know we're going to have to do really, really well on a lot of things, but also we know we're in good form and we're looking forward to the game. So yeah, it's one that we can't wait to get started.
On a personal note, you've always seemed to really use the word excitement about these games and a game to look forward to. Is this another one of those? 3,000 plus fans. You mentioned the big pitch, good stadium, that kind of thing.
Definitely, I think this is certainly one of those fixtures that you want to be in the game for. Wherever we were in the league at this point, wherever they were in the league, what the form was. You'd be looking at this game at the start of the season, thinking, "Oh, what a great fixture! What a good challenge to go and test ourselves." And that's certainly what it's going to be. So yeah, we've been really keen to emphasise for the boys that this stage of the season isn't for attention. We wanted to be in a good position where we're fighting for things and we're in a good position. So now let's go and enjoy it and keep attacking each game that we have. Let's stay on the front foot, go and try and win games and see where it takes us. So we're positive. We're looking forward to it. We respect the opponent and we're humble about the challenge, but we also are looking to go and keep going with what we've been doing.
And that's the Ipswich boss, Kieran McKenna. His side beat Derby by a 1-0 in the return fixture at Portman Road back in October. It was Paul Warne's only 4th game in charge of the Rams, and it left Derby well outside the top 6. But the Rams boss says he always expected his team would be in the mix by this stage of the season.
Did I think we'd be in the mix? Yeah, I did, honestly. I did. There was foundations of good stuff here. We tried. Obviously, I think that game I played a back 3. I might be wrong. I think I played Dobbs and Sulu up top, which is very good if I'm right. I remembered that. But I did realise that we probably had to play a different way. But I did think we'd be in there, and I've got full respect for my staff and know what we can do as a group, and thought with the players we had here we'd have a right chance. So yeah, it sounds a bit arrogant, but I thought we'd be in and around it. And in fairness, if you're 10th currently, you're still in and around it. So it isn't a colossal, reign of ego that he thinks he can do this. Like being in the top 10, you are in and around it till the last couple of games. So yeah, I thought we'd be up there.
You've shown how good you can be, and I appreciate expectation changes everything, especially in this game. Are you still pointing back to the games from that run to the players and saying, look, this is the best version of you, as you like to put it?
No, not really. We all do it in different ways. The lads you don't want to live in the past. Like I always say to them, look, you're never more experienced than you are today. You'll never be as young as you are today. And you've never been this old. So, you can't harp on about things that have happened in the past because, 45 minutes at Plymouth, we had the world sussed. We had a second half, which it seems like it sort of knocked the lads' confidence a little bit. I might be speaking out of turn. That's how it feels. But it's more personal than that, I think. I've had more conversations with individual players because I can see a few of the players are just a little bit off sync. There's still obvious elephants in the room that frustrate, but, every team... unless you're the top team of the Premier League, have faults. I know that, but it's not so much we say, we used to do this. So back in January, when we looked, unbeatable. We weren't scoring a goal every 2 games like Ipswich are off set pieces. We weren't doing it then. So, why should I expect it to do it now? Although we keep reinforcing it, keep trying to change it as we're trying to do again tomorrow. So it's not about living in the past too much. The lads just want to live in today, want to try and get in the team for this week, want to train really well this week, want to catch the eye this week because, I always say you need to play the next game like it's your last game of your life. So that's how we play.
I'm not going to ask you for the team. I never expected you to tell me anyway.
I was then going to tell you. I'd written it down on this side of the cup in case I forgot.
But I wonder how is this as complicated as, because I know it's a discussion you have within the coaching staff, isn't it? Are the conversations at the moment about the team you picked for the weekend, are they as complicated as they've been at any point?
Yeah, definitely. Because if the team's winning, it just picks itself, really. I mean, if we win 3-0 tomorrow, next week's team's pretty easy to pick. You just throw the shirts out and the people who haven't played won't even walk near them. I mean, in fairness, it's different now. You have your own name, but you get my point. So whenever you're not winning and you're trying to find the winning formula, you try and tweak with things. And sometimes, and this is the problem, sometimes you could tweak the only thing that was working, and it can get worse before it gets better, and that's the sad reality. Look, there's no science to football. No one listening to me talking has the definitive 11 or the definitive shape, or there isn't such a thing. You can only go on what you see and what you see the opposition, and like we see him train every day, who looks on form, and he doesn't look right, and he looks a little bit under confident. That's not the right word, but low on confidence. So, but you do have more conversations, you do, and obviously the more the lack of performances you get, the more the sleepless nights come back for a manager and coaching staff, and the more you second guess yourself and everything. And look, we're really confident in what we do, but it just takes more process. Is probably the fairest way to say it.
That's Paul Warne. Just 10 games in League One today, with Plymouth facing Bolton in the EFL Trophy final tomorrow. Barnsley can close the gap to the top two at home to Morecambe. Peterborough, Portsmouth and Wycombe are all chasing the playoffs and are all at home today as well. So is Sheffield Wednesday, who will go back to the top of the table if they beat Lincoln. And a win for Derby will keep them in the League One top six. Overseas viewers can watch the Rams take on Ipswich Town today on RamsTV. Matchday Live is with you from 2:30. We'll have Sean Barker alongside on commentary. Get your match pass now at dcfc.co.uk. Goodbye.